Welcome back to Sunrise on this Monday morning. It is 4:13. It's an unprecedented time for Indiana restaurants. According to the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association, in the month of April, restaurants in our state lost over $920 million worth of sales. Around 200,000 restaurant employees were laid off, and about 82% of that workforce is in Indiana.
And today, with the exceptions, of course, from Marion, Cass, and Lake counties, which are on their own timelines for reopening, many of the restaurants in our state will attempt to reopen for dine-in service at 50% capacity per the governor's guidelines. I recently spoke to the president and CEO of the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association, Patrick Tam, about these strict guidelines for restaurants.
You're going to see a lot of single-use items. You're not necessarily going to walk into a table that's already preset. You're also going to see a manager more likely at the host stand to help you or put you on a wait list if that's needed through a text number. They're not going to ask you to wait in the lobby of the restaurant. They're going to potentially ask you to wait out in your car or outside. So we observe a social distance perspective. You're also going to see, hopefully, the Hoosier Hospitality Promise on individuals' doors, where it walks people through that every employee on every shift is going through a health screen. And we're recording that information as well. If someone is not feeling well, they've been exposed to something, they're not to work, and they go home. At the same time, we're asking the same thing of guests to also respect not just themselves and other guests, but also our teammates as well. If they've had a fever, if they're not feeling well, if they have underlying health conditions as well, let us continue to serve you through carryout and delivery. We're happy to do that, but don't come into our dining rooms. You're also going to see some changes with regards to table linens and silverware and all those types of pieces. And you're also going to see everyone in the restaurant wearing a face covering, which is what's required at this time.
And it is recommended guests wear those face coverings too. Obviously, it's difficult to drink and eat with a face covering on, but they are asking if you have one and can wear it at certain times when dining in, great. Keep in mind, too, certain restaurants who typically don't take reservations may be doing so now to stay at that 50% capacity. So check their websites or social media accounts or call ahead if you can. Tam says while many restaurants across the state can open today for dine-in, some may need more time just to get things ready. So be sure to check that they're actually open starting today. Tam tells me the next 30 to 60 days will determine the future of many of these restaurants, what they may or may not look like in the future. He actually shared a lot of valuable information with me, and I'm going to link you to all of that with this story on WTHR.com. I'm actually working on that right now. So he also says, while the push for carryout and delivery for many restaurants has certainly helped, it's really just still a drop in the bucket compared to that dine-in service, even at 50% capacity, or is better than that, but those are still very thin margins for these restaurants to operate under. I appreciate Patrick's time. We talked for almost a half hour. Unfortunately, a lot of that conversation was dire. I mean, it was eye-opening to see the struggle, really, for so many restaurants all across our state. And we're not out of the woods yet. I mean, just saying, okay, we're going to open at 50% capacity, there's still a big hill to climb here.
Right, and, you know, we hope that people continue to support these restaurants. Yeah. Obviously, it could be months before we know what really is going to happen with their futures.